Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Samantha, my stunning wife, radiated an unusual exuberance tonight. After we finished dinner and settled on the couch, she unexpectedly climbed onto my lap, covering me in kisses and wrapping her arms around me with unrestrained excitement. Her lively energy seemed even more pronounced than usual. People know me as Anthony, and I first met Samantha over 5 years ago. We've been married for 4 of those years, recently celebrating our anniversary. Our story began shortly after I transitioned out of the Marines, where I had dedicated myself to rigorous physical training and teaching self-defense. My military career culminated in a year-long tenure as a drill instructor, transforming recruits into capable soldiers. While fulfilling, I yearned for a life beyond the military. After leaving the service, I used the savings from my 4 years in uniform to establish a fitness and health training business. The venture quickly took off, and I immersed myself in helping clients reach their personal fitness milestones. Standing 6'4" and weighing 255 pounds of solid muscle, I projected a level of fitness that motivated those I trained. Watching clients evolve from hesitant beginners to confident, strong individuals within months brought me a profound sense of accomplishment. It was during this time that I met Samantha. She was the younger sister of one of my clients. Despite our contrasting physiques, her petite 5'4" frame at 110 pounds compared to my much larger build, we formed an immediate connection. At 22, Samantha's youthful energy and charm contrasted with my 26 years of life experience. Though fitness wasn't her passion, we bonded over shared interests and spent our free time exploring life together. Our relationship blossomed, and within a year, we were married. Samantha's playful, vibrant personality was among the many traits that captivated me. While some might dismiss her as a frivolous blonde, I found her charm endearing. That said, she sometimes lacked practicality. As a fitness trainer with a physique that often attracted attention, I took proactive measures to safeguard my reputation and our relationship by installing cameras throughout the gym. This decision ensured transparency and reassured Samantha, who could monitor the facility remotely if she ever felt the need. Our life was stable and fulfilling. My business thrived, and Samantha's work as a real estate agent provided additional financial stability. One Sunday afternoon, as we relaxed with a bottle of wine in the living room, her playful side came out in full force. Her laughter filled the room as she leaped into my lap, showering me with affection. Her warmth and energy always made me feel loved, but the mood shifted abruptly when she casually shared unexpected news. "Anthony, Brandon's taking me out to dinner next Friday. You're okay with that, right?" she asked, her fingers running through my hair as she smiled sweetly. At first, her words didn't register. I was too captivated by her radiant smile. When she repeated the question, the meaning finally clicked. "What exactly are you saying, Samantha?" I asked, confusion creeping into my voice. "Oh, don't be silly," she giggled. "Brandon from the office invited me to dinner and I might have said yes." Disbelief swept over me as her words sank in. "Wait, are you seriously asking for my permission to go on a date with another man?" I managed to say, striving to keep my composure. "It's not really a date," she replied lightly. "Just dinner and maybe a movie. Nothing serious." I stared at her, the woman I had always believed embodied loyalty and devotion. "Samantha, that's the very definition of a date. Do you truly think this is acceptable? Anthony, please don't be jealous. He's nothing like you. It's just one evening," she said, trying to reassure me. "I love you, and he means nothing to me. I just want to do this." Years of military discipline kept me from reacting impulsively, but the hurt was undeniable. "I see you've already made up your mind," I murmured, feigning acceptance. Reaching for my phone, I dialed a client who had consistently shown interest in me. "Hi, Mary. It's Anthony," I said, noting Samantha's puzzled expression. "Is your offer for Friday still open?" "Great. My wife has decided we're trying an open marriage, so I thought of you." Samantha froze, her hand stopping mid-stroke through my hair. "Who's Mary?" she demanded, suspicion flashing in her eyes. "She's a client of mine," I replied nonchalantly. "We're going out on Friday just like you and Brandon." Her face contorted with anger as she jumped off my lap. "I can't believe you! How could you do this?" she shouted, her voice rising. "You're going out with some woman? That's unacceptable!" "But it's perfectly acceptable for you to go out with Brandon?" I countered, barely suppressing my amusement. "It's different," she insisted, her tone defiant. "How so?" I pressed. "You're the one who brought this idea into our marriage. Did you think I'd just sit back while you dated someone else?" As her anger dissolved into tears, I maintained my resolve. "Starting next week, we're going to counseling to figure out why you feel I'm not enough for you," I said firmly. "Until Friday, I'll be staying in the guest room, and intimacy is off the table. The thought of you wanting another man is too painful." Her tears flowed freely as I continued. "After Friday, we'll decide if there's anything left to salvage in this marriage. Just remember, Samantha, this situation stems from your choices. Whatever happens next is a consequence of that." I wasn't about to alter my course, no matter the repercussions. Samantha, visibly shaken and overcome with emotion, exited the room in silence. Not long after, I overheard her on the phone with her sister, a response I had anticipated. From the sound of their conversation, her sister's support seemed lukewarm at best. About an hour later, Samantha returned, her usual demeanor of sweetness and charm back in place. However, I was prepared and determined not to fall for her strategies. "Darling," she began hesitantly, "I've been thinking, and I realize I made a mistake agreeing to go out with Brandon. I've decided to cancel it. I don't want anyone but you." Her voice was soft and sounded genuine, but I remained composed. "That's your decision to make," I said evenly. "But let's be clear. You set these events in motion, and I intend to see things through. Whether you stay home or meet Brandon, it won't change my plans with Mary," I continued, my tone steady but firm. "You made your choices, fully aware they would hurt me. Now I need to follow this path and see where it leads. Perhaps you're right. Maybe exploring the idea of an open marriage is something we need to do. But every action has consequences, Samantha. You accepted his invitation without discussing it with me first." Regret clouded her expression. "It wasn't a date, Anthony. You have to believe me. It was just a casual get-together after work. It didn't mean anything." "Call it whatever you like," I replied sharply, "but the damage is done." With that, I grabbed a beer and stepped onto the patio, leaving her standing there. That night, I slept in the guest room, while her muffled sobs echoed through the house for the remainder of the week. The following morning, Samantha's sister Patricia called me, her voice tinged with concern. "Anthony," she began, "is it true you're going out with someone else this week? Samantha loves you. You can't do this to her." "Patricia," I said firmly, "you don't have the full picture. Samantha accepted an invitation from a coworker without consulting me. She informed me after the fact, disregarding my feelings and the vows we've made. I've been nothing but faithful since the day we met, but I'm questioning whether I can stay in a marriage where my wife considers the company of another man." There was a pause before she replied. "I didn't realize she'd been so thoughtless. Please, Anthony, give her some grace. She may not even understand the pain she's caused." "I've been patient," I answered. "I haven't acted rashly, but she needs to face the consequences of her actions." Later that day, Patricia's words seemed to have an effect. Samantha approached me, contrite and pleading for us both to reconsider. She begged me to cancel our respective dates and reevaluate the direction we were headed. But I stood firm. The realization that she had entertained another man's company left a wound I wasn't sure could heal. To ensure there was no ambiguity, I arranged for Mary to pick me up at our home. I wanted Samantha to see her, to fully understand what an open marriage entailed. Although Samantha expressed reluctance about meeting Brandon, I encouraged her to honor her commitment. She bristled when I referred to Brandon as her boyfriend, and insisted he was only a friend. Still, she dressed attractively but modestly for the evening, a choice that gave me a faint glimmer of hope. When Mary arrived right at 6 p.m., Samantha's expression was a mix of shock and discomfort. Mary's presence was strikingly different from Samantha's. Tall, athletic, and exuding confidence, she wore an outfit that was both bold and revealing. My tailored sports jacket complemented her assertive energy. Ignoring Samantha's unease, I handed her the camera and asked her to take a few pictures of Mary and me together. Samantha's forced smile barely concealed her jealousy. Mary greeted her warmly. "It's wonderful to meet you, Samantha. Anthony has told me about your open marriage. I think it's great. I've had my eye on him for a while, so I was thrilled when he reached out." Before Samantha could respond, the doorbell rang. Brandon had arrived. Her expression shifted to one of nervousness as I welcomed him inside. He was unremarkable, short, wiry, and far from intimidating. Still, I couldn't understand Samantha's choice. I shook his hand firmly, enjoying his discomfort. "My wife is ready for your date," I said with a hint of mischief. "Enjoy yourselves." Brandon's hesitancy was obvious as he glanced at Samantha for reassurance. Mary and I left the house, sharing a quiet laugh at the tension we'd left behind. Mary and I had a fantastic evening filled with dinner, dancing, and a serene walk along the beach. Her energy was infectious, her kisses electric, yet my thoughts continually drifted back to Samantha. Each moment with Mary reminded me of memories I had shared with my wife, casting a bittersweet shadow over the night. When Mary dropped me off the next morning, we shared a lingering goodbye kiss in the driveway. I knew Samantha had witnessed it from the window, but I felt no guilt. While the night had been enjoyable, it left me with more questions than answers. Inside, Samantha confronted me immediately. "Nice kiss," she snapped, her voice sharp with anger. "What else did you do?" I met her glare with calm. "Good morning, Samantha. How was your evening with Brandon? He seemed like a decent guy." "You slept with her," she accused, her voice trembling. "Samantha," I replied evenly. "It was just a first date. Don't jump to conclusions." The tension between us was palpable, but the questions weighing on my heart remained unanswered. The first date. "Are you planning to see her again?" she demanded, her voice sharp with urgency and unmistakable tension. "I haven't decided yet. Are you going to meet your boyfriend again?" I shot back, holding her gaze firmly. "No, absolutely not. I don't want him, I want you," she confessed, her voice breaking as tears began to streak down her cheeks. "Funny, it didn't seem that way just a week ago. What changed?" I retorted, frustration heavy in my tone. Samantha's expression shifted as if the weight of her actions finally began to register. Maybe in her mind, her time with Brandon was innocent, a harmless interaction with someone she considered a friend. To her, he posed no real threat. I struggled to grasp her perspective, though I couldn't help wondering if I had overreacted. Still, the expectation that any husband would be comfortable with his wife meeting another man, regardless of the context, was beyond me. I pulled Samantha into my arms, holding her close. "Samantha, I love you more than words can express, but I can't stay with someone who allows herself to entertain feelings for anyone else. Infidelity, in any form, is something I can't overlook. If you ever lie to me again or break my trust, I won't hesitate to leave. Do you understand?" I held her gaze as I spoke, my words firm and deliberate. Samantha nodded quickly, her embrace tightening as she kissed me fervently. "Yes, I understand. I'd never cheat on you. I've only ever wanted you. This was different," she murmured, her voice trembling with emotion. Her tears dampened my shirt as she clung to me. "It wasn't a date. What you had with her, that was a date. Brandon and I just had dinner, but after he bumped into you and hurt his hand, he insisted on leaving early. It was miserable. He dropped me off before 8. Since then, I've been consumed with worry about what you might have been doing with her. And then seeing you kiss her." Her voice trailed off as new tears fell. I tightened my arms around her, whispering reassurances. Despite the gravity of the moment, a fleeting thought crossed my mind. Brandon likely wouldn't challenge me again anytime soon. Our handshake the previous night had made that much clear, which was why I'd insisted on meeting him before Mary and I left. "Samantha," I said gently, "let's leave last night behind us for now, but I'm serious about starting counseling. There are things we both need to understand about each other. If we can rebuild trust, I'll end things with Mary and cut off any other women who've expressed interest." Her eyes widened slightly at the implication that Mary wasn't the only complication, but she chose not to press the issue. Returning to our shared bed felt like a cautious step forward. Counseling, as it turned out, became an invaluable lifeline for us. Our therapist, Mrs. Stewart, provided a space where we could unravel our emotions and communicate more openly. She helped Samantha see how her actions had made me feel disregarded and undervalued. Samantha initially defended herself, insisting that Brandon was nothing more than a friend, and their dinner was no different than an outing with one of her girlfriends. But under Mrs. Stewart's guidance, she began to recognize how crossing certain boundaries, however unintended, could be harmful in a committed relationship. Spending time with another man at the expense of our relationship wasn't acceptable, regardless of her intentions. Samantha also voiced her hurt, arguing that my decision to go on a date with another woman felt retaliatory and deeply unfair, especially given Mary's undeniable attractiveness. Mrs. Stewart intervened, helping Samantha understand my perspective and the emotional turmoil I'd experienced. When it was my turn to speak, I looked directly at Samantha. "Samantha, I love you, but hearing about you going out with Brandon crushed me. It triggered something primal in me, a need to retaliate. If you were exploring the possibility of seeing someone else, I felt compelled to do the same. It was a mistake I regret deeply, but I need you to understand that the responsibility for this situation lies with you. If this ever happens again, I'll file for divorce without hesitation. This is your only warning. I believe you when you say it wasn't a date, which is why I'm willing to work through this, but I won't tolerate a repeat." That conversation marked a turning point for us. Samantha became more attuned to my feelings, and our communication improved significantly. What had once seemed like an irreparable rift became an opportunity to strengthen our relationship. Therapy continued for several months, during which we learned to prioritize each other in ways we hadn't before. Remarkably, Mary reached out to Samantha, offering reassurance and promising to step back entirely. She even went as far as to say she'd only re-enter the picture if Samantha ever decided to end things with me. Faced with the reality of the consequences her actions might bring, Samantha underwent a profound transformation. She realized the depth of our connection and the importance of safeguarding it. Never again did she give me a reason to doubt her loyalty or question her intentions. She embraced the responsibilities of our commitment fully and wholeheartedly. Though Samantha and Brandon remained friends, their dynamic shifted significantly. Brandon became more cautious, careful never to cross any lines. Reflecting on it all, I realized that relationships often defy simple logic. Yet in navigating the complexities together, we found a way to emerge stronger than ever. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.